Welcome to the Rev It Up Racing Show. You can find 4-cylinders, mini stocks, factory stocks, sportsmen, modifieds, winged and non-winged sprint cars, limited late models, and all your racing information here at revitupracing.net. The Rev It Up Racing Show is brought to you by Luca Mariano. Luca Mariano is your family-selected whiskey and bourbon that goes very well at post-race campfires and any activity you choose to share it at. Now, here is your Rev It Up Racing host, Jay Houselander.
We're here today with Cassius Clark from Farmington, Maine. Welcome, everyone. We are here today for the 5th episode of the Rev It Up Racing Show. The Rev It Up Racing Show is brought to you by Luca Mariano Distillery. Remember, Luca Mariano Distillery is your family-selected whiskey and bourbon for all your post-race parties and so much more. How are you today, Cassius?
Good. How you guys doing?
Good. First thing first is, how was that 8-hour ride home?
Well, it's always a good ride home when you win, so it makes it a lot easier for sure.
Exactly. With you being in Farmington, Maine, like I say, being about 8 hours away from Antigonish, Nova Scotia, can you talk a little bit about July 20th win at Riverside International Speedway at Antigonish about 3 days ago?
Yeah. I mean, it was our first big race of the year, so it was on the calendar every year, and we won it last year and lost in the tech shed there, so it was something we all rallied around, and really want to come back and make a statement, and obviously we were fortunate enough to do that, but the team led by Andrew Hicken, owned by Roby and Judy McDonald there, gave us everything that we needed, and when we unloaded Thursday night there, and we knew we had a good piece, and followed up with the practice sessions on Saturday, and the race went our way, led the majority of laps, and was able to set the pace, which we typically like to do, and everything fell together, and we were able to come through and win it, and get through tech.
And not to bring up, like, say, old wounds from last year and you capturing the flag, but due to carburetor disqualifications and that, was it big for the 2019 for redemption in Halifax? Or, sorry, not in Halifax, in Nova Scotia?
Yeah. I mean, that was obviously, we wanted to prove that, that wasn't the reason why we won the race. It was a pretty minute deal with the air bleeds and the idle jets on the carburetor there. It wasn't like it was really a cheated up carburetor. There was a ghost rule in there that nobody really knew about, and they kind of found that. So it it kind of left a little bit of a sour taste in my mouth and the team's mouth, and we wanted to obviously redeem themselves and put a statement down that we don't need to cheat to win, and we're able to come back and pick up where we left off.
And that's something for people who don't know, and race fans who don't really know the tech end of it. With a carburetor, not to get it totally into it, even if it's something just a millimeter or anything that's just not right, it's something that you can be disqualified for, and it can affect your losing the checkered flag, right?
Usually those types of things and all the other series across the U.S. and Canada are able to be changed, but evidently they had we've been racing since I've been racing up there since 2012, and usually every time we go up there, we're fortunate enough to run well and usually do get tech, and we had never seen them. They check carburetors, quite frequently, but as far as that rule in particular that we got thrown out for, we had never seen that come up. So it was kind of a surprise, which is why it was obviously heartbreaking. So we were all surprised at that, and the way it went down and everything is obviously it was everybody else. There was 2 or 3 other guys thrown out, and then we went to the racetrack. The 2 or 3 the Cat 250 there, a couple more races down the road, and they did that same test before the deal there, and like 10 or 12 of them had the same issues that we did before the race even started. So it was kind of an odd rule that they had in place, but it is what it is. They have the rule, everybody knows now, so we run what they want you to run, and pick up and go from there.
And the last question about we'll drop last year is, again, Kenny Wallace ended up getting the win last year compared to the other three guys who had the same problem as you when it came to disqualification? And not that you want to lose, but I guess you can say you've lost to a former NASCAR driver. Not that's what you really want to say, but this year you beat him, and he ended up ninth. So it's something. Last year he took it because of disqualifications. This year you came across the line. He places ahead of him, so you actually beat a NASCAR driver, right?
Yeah, I've actually, I've over the years have been fortunate enough to race against quite a few of the guys. Actually raced against Kenny Wallace and Jimmy Spencer at a race back in 2006 in Thompson, Connecticut, and I won that one. I think either Jimmy or Kenny got second, and that whichever one got second, the other one finished third. So that was cool. And actually, him and I talked about that there last year, and he was talking to me before the race this year, and he said obviously he didn't want to win the race that way. He'd rather win another track and everything, but he did a great job. He was the next guy in line that they deemed legal, so he won the race. And this year we just we worked on our car, made some changes, wanted to make it a little bit better than what it was last year, and we were able to do that and pull away with a win.
And it's something about you say you've been coming up to being in Maine. You're not that far from Canada for people who don't know the Eastern Seaboard when it comes to Maine and Nova Scotia. But why is Riverside so good for you when it comes to that track and the luck you have?
Well, to be honest with you, until like last year, we always run well there. I guess the first time I went there when it was a pass race, when John Chisholm took back ownership, it was a different sanctioned race by pass, and we finished second. And then I went up in the next year and ran Stevie Henderson's car, and we had some parts failures, and it was quite a number of years before I was able to get back. But the Chisholm family, obviously originally built a first class facility, and when they redid it there, I mean, it's second to none. I mean, all across the U.S. and Canada, you can't really find a better track, anywhere. And they're a great family, get along with them well, and their team and everything. No better people. They were the first ones there to congratulate us this year and last year both. And it's an honor to finally get that win in his father's name. And I look forward to going back and trying to repeat next year.
And I didn't get a chance to watch. I got to watch the live, but I got to watch it. JDM broadcasting from the East Coast, who covers racing all over the East Coast, father-son team. I got to watch it the next day, but with 9 laps remaining, the yellow comes out. You're in the lead. Like I say, the yellow comes out with a little bit of a collision on the backstretch. You had a little bit of room on Jonathan Hicken, but does that put you in panic at that point? And what does your leader say to you, or your spotter say to you at this point in the race?
Well, my spotter was Jonathan Hicken's brother, so no, Jonathan's a good guy, but he's hungry for wins, obviously too, and he's a smaller team. Andrew obviously builds his car. It's very, very similar to what we run there. So, he's really good on the short run stuff and the long run too. And he's been consistent this year and ran really well. Previously winning the last 2 races that they had held there. So I knew he was going to be good. I knew our car was, a little bit better. Throughout the weekend, it just showed a little bit more speed. So I knew, if I didn't do anything stupid, didn't try to get myself in a bad position, hopefully we're going to be able to pull it off. But when you get a good lead like that, and there's a caution that comes out with just a few laps to go, and then it being a long caution, I think it's a half hour, 45 minutes or something like that. The pressures and everything cools down in the tires. So I knew we'd be, hitting the ground there a little bit, and anything could happen. But he ran us fair, and we were able to pull off the victory, and he was able to finish right behind us.
And with holding up Jonathan, he was coming off, like you said, wins at Petty International Raceway and Osterbed the following 2 weekends previous, so down the East Coast still. But I know you said talking about the caution and everything else. Can you take us through those last 9 laps, and with him more or less breathing down your neck, and then you did space out a little bit, but can you just take us through those last 9 laps a little bit?
Yeah, I knew, it's kind of odd that you get to talk to each other, out of the car with like 8 laps to go, and obviously, we're friendly, and we were, sitting down there talking to each other. But from talking to him and talking to my spotter, I knew that he had a little bit of a push, getting off the turns there. So I told him I was going to try to, try to get out to the lead right off the start there, and give him some room so he could, tuck down in behind. And he got a really good restart. He kind of hung on my door there, and the first lap we kind of went side by side, and I just couldn't quite clear him coming down the front stretch, taking the I guess it was probably 7 to go then, and he kind of pulled a little bit of a crossover move, coming off turn 2 there, and get to my inside a little bit, going down the back stretch. So I had to give him, room getting into 3, and he kind of got a little tight and couldn't get to the gas as quick, and we were able to stand on the gas and finally clear him, and then kind of set sail from there. I was able to run the line that I wanted to run, and click off the last few laps there, and just pull away just a little bit to give us a cushion.
And it's something for people who, again, didn't watch a NASCAR race yesterday. That's 1-2. It's, again, you said Jonathan's not that type of driver either, but again, yesterday watching a NASCAR race, could have tapped him, and Harvick wouldn't have got the win. But again, another clean race, and that's the way you want to come across the checker line, is with a clean win, right?
Yeah, I mean, you got to realize you're racing for wins too. I mean, you might never do something on purpose. I mean, sometimes you overdrive your car and it gets a little bit loose and stuff like that, which ultimately you're responsible for your own car. But yeah, I mean, it was nice to not have to worry about any of that, and we both got good finishes. That was a really good points day for him. He's racing for a points championship, and it paid a fair amount of money for second place. I think it was $7,000 per second, so that will set him up for the rest of the races remaining this season, budget wise. So it's good, good both ways.
And this year, probably the easiest answer of them all, but what does this race win mean to you, and will you be back for 2020?
Yeah, I hope so. I'm back anytime Rolly gives me the call and wants me to run his equipment for sure. But I would imagine that we'd probably be back. Hopefully to try to defend that. And it means a lot. Obviously, the first to be able to win the Triple Crown is what they call it there. After we almost had it last year and got it taken away, so come back this year and repeat and finally get it officially is obviously what we were looking to do.
And it's something I'm based in Ontario, in Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario, but we have one track just east of us, and the rest are about 6-7 hours away south in Ontario. But we have a track that's just below Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan, called Kinross Speed Park, and Kenny Wallace, who again you went up against the last 2 years, is racing in the Big Hot Shoe August 8th and 9th here, and in the mod division. And you had mentioned about racing with other drivers, but for the drivers who do listen to the show, when you get into your car behind the wheel, knowing that there's a former NASCAR driver, doesn't mean if it's Kenny or anybody, does that change your mindset, or is it just you're ready to turn left and do the amount of laps you got to do?
Yeah, no, I'm pretty focused on it doesn't make a difference to me, other than if they have Kenny. I raced with him a little bit last year. We raced through traffic there for a little bit, and so I knew. I mean, obviously he's a NASCAR driver, so he's a good, clean driver and knows what he's doing and everything. So you don't have to worry about him maybe overdriving his car or slipping up. He's been in situations like that a lot. So as far as being around him, I was totally comfortable and knew he was in NASCAR for a reason. So there was no issues there. It's some of the other guys that you're around that overdrive their car or kind of are in the way and don't get out of the way when they're getting laps and stuff like that. That's the ones that you have to be more careful around.
And what I've seen, again, I only know on social media, and hopefully in August we're doing the video and the photography for that race where Kenny's at. But from social media, he's got one hell of a sense of humor, doesn't he? Yeah, no,
he was an awesome guest for them to bring to the track last year. The fans loved him. It was cool. I mean, it wasn't the way that we wanted him to win the race, but as far as everything going, the fans were happy to see him win, and pump that up, and then to come back this year to try to, defend his title there and try to get another win. There was a lot of guys pumped up for that, and but as far as interaction with the fans and everything, I mean, I saw him over there in the beer garden and stuff, talking to the fans there in the red flag, taking pictures and all that. So there's no better guy, I'm sure, as far as being friendly and a crowd pleaser as there is for Kenny Wallace.
And we're sitting right now, July 22nd, but there's still a lot of racing to be done in the 2019 season. Will you be back up in Canada before the snow flies, and what do you have planned for the rest of the 2019 racing season?
Yeah, my next race will be, I think it's 3 weeks, the Cat 250 there in Halifax. So we'll be back to, we won that one last year. Try to go back and defend that race there, and really looking forward to the Oxford 250 the end of August in Maine. And then as far as that, not sure where the rest of our races will be. We'll typically try to hit some of the bigger ones, so we'll see how much money we can pull out of those ones and how much money we can get in the bank account and see where it will take us.
And for you being in Farmington, Maine, what do you, I guess, classify? Do you classify a home track at all in your area?
Yeah, I mean, I guess Oxford's probably the closest track, but I've never really run weekly anywhere throughout my whole career. I've always kind of traveled around. But Beech Ridge used to be a place I'd run the legend cars on Thursday nights for 2 or 3 years. But other than that, I've always been involved in a touring series, whether it was pass or running the maritime races there. So I've never really officially had a home track. But my dad raced at Oxford a number of years ago, and that was his home track before he moved on to the Bush North Series. So it's always felt like home there, and the Oxford 250 has eluded my father and I throughout our career. So we're hoping to try to pull that big race off this year.
No, what would it mean for you to pull that off? Knowing, again, your dad didn't win it, but you haven't had the chance yet. But what would that mean to you to I guess you say, lift that trophy for the 250?
Yeah, huge. I mean, I guess from not being around there, like the IWK is what everybody figures the biggest race in Canada is, and to finally be able to get that, it's real special. But this here is, like you said, kind of our home track, and we know how big this event is, and even nationally and everything. So it's on par with a prestigious snowball derby. So it's one that we've come close many times, and run well, just haven't been able to pull it off. So we put a lot of effort in this year. We've, tested there once this year and ran a couple of their races in preparations for the race in August. So hopefully we can, keep the momentum and pull that one off August 25th.
No, it's something, again, I don't know if we call Florida the Eastern Seaboard, but I guess for you, it would be for traveling for you, but are you headed to the 2019 Snowball this year?
I think it kind of depends on how our season goes. It's usually, how much money we can win in these big races to see if it's a really, a huge expense to go down there. Tremendous amount as far as, everybody's staying in a house and all that, and the money that goes into, it's basically a week long a race in there. So, if we can get some money out of Oxford and, we get a little bit out of this IWK there. I think we ended up with a little over 20,000 there, and hopefully we can pull some out of, the Cat 250 and, the other big ones, and that will leave us a little something to go down there and race with those guys.
The only problem for you is you had to exchange it back to American, right?
Yeah, that's the American is a little bit more, but no matter how you look at it, $20,000 is a decent payday for a night at the races.
Exactly. Now, why? And I ask drivers this is why do you climb behind the car more or less? I call it a weekend warrior, but now what's other than adrenaline? What's the biggest thing about getting behind that steering wheel?
Racing is just something it's in your blood or it's not. It's a unique sport, but it's when it's in your blood, it's all you think about, daily. No matter what you got for a business or what you're doing for work, if racing's in your blood, that's it consumes your mind. So it consumes my mind, still does. I still got the desire to race and to win, and yeah, you're only as good as your next race. So looking forward to the next one, and hopefully we can pull off another victory.
Now, if you had, again, we've talked snowball, we've talked about the ones in the East Coast. If there was one track or one race you could race, dirt or, I'm saying not that you race dirt, but dirt or asphalt, what race would that probably be you'd want to at least take a, like say, a kick of the can at?
Yeah, there's some. I've been fortunate to race a bunch of these big races. I don't know if there's one that I haven't. I guess I've never been to Winchester. They have the Winchester 400 there. That's a big race. I'd probably be interested in trying to do that one someday. Or there's a lot of big races out there that I've never been to. That if someday if the right situation came along, I'd like to have a shot at a couple of those. But as far as the East Coast, I've hit most all those big races up.
Now, without people helping and supporting drivers like yourself, last question I always ask is who would you like to thank?
Obviously need to thank Rolly and Judy McDonald for funding up a first class operation with King Racing, and that's led by my good friend Andrew Hicken. I was fortunate enough to meet him down south when we moved to North Carolina there roughly the same time, and met him in 2008, I believe it was, and have been best friends ever since. And he moved back to Canada and started working for Rolly, and Rolly got hurt and needed a driver in 2012, and they called me up, and we've been racing off and on ever since, and had a ton of success, and feel like they're all family. And the whole team and everything we've assembled over the years is really clicks well together. So it's always fun to go to the racetrack with all those guys and enjoy the success together.
And it's something like I said last question, but sometimes it comes up, is you had mentioned about Andrew and about Jonathan, and not that we have to get right into it, but after the beers come out, or whatever you want to say, after the race, and the car's going to the trailer, what's the conversation like when you have your spotter whose brother came second behind you? What's that conversation like with the three of you?
We're just I've raced with Jonathan where he's won the race and I've ended up second. A few times he was really, 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 really strong there. A few years back, I can't remember what years it was, but he was winning everything, and we finished behind him a couple times. So I know how he feels. It's not fun. I mean, you're a racer, you want to win. But like I said, it was a good points day for him, and it was a good payday. Even though he didn't get the win, he's a sharp racer, and he works hard, and he's got a good team, as well. And Andrew kind of leads them along, so he'll get himself an IWK, win before he's done. No question about it. But everybody was really, really good. We went to the campfire and drank beers together with them, and nothing, no hard feelings or anything like that. Everybody was pumped up. It was a good atmosphere. But when you lose, it's you're a racer. You want to win the race, so it's tough. Well, I know it is for me. I'm sure it is for him. He's got the same attitude, but he's got a good outlook, and he's racing for the bigger picture. He's trying to get his first championship there, so hopefully he'll continue his strong run and get some more wins, and pull off that championship.
But you don't want to win the IWK 250 until you stop going, right?
What's that?
I say you don't want him to win the IWK until you stop going up there, right?
Oh yeah, right. No, but our car was so dominant, so I felt like we definitely needed to win. But if we go back and he's faster than us and we finish second to him, then I'd be pleased to see that. But when you get a really good car that should be winning the race, you definitely don't want to finish second.
Exactly. Well, I can't thank you enough, and I apologize. I guess we'll blame Apple today because the iPhone didn't work with the software. But like I say, that's something I learned today that I didn't know with the software we use. But again, I apologize. But again, I always say when you have a pit crew, sometimes it doesn't work exactly the way you want it to go, right?
Yeah, no problem. We improvised to get it done, and it's all good.
thank you very much, and hopefully we can maybe get have you back on in the fall when after a few more wins under your belt.
Okay, thanks. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Each and every one of us have put 100% of our love, dedication, passion into building our bourbon. For me, it's our dream in a bottle, and we want it to be special for everyone that enjoys it.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Centani.
Yeah, Gentani.